In about 9 years after having grown on an average of around 2.4%. Certainly that was the picture in 2016. All of this is contained in the International Labour Organization's 2-yearly global wage report, and that was released this afternoon. It's a report that's been published at a time when President Cyril Ramaphosa has just signed into law the new national minimum wage, which seeks to decrease huge disparities in income in the national labour market. The National Minimum Wage Act sets South Africa's first national minimum wage at 20 Rand an hour, the equivalent of just around 3,500 Rand per month. The National Union of Metal Workers of South Africa has rejected this outright, saying it stands ready to mobilise against this new national minimum wage.
Government says the bill sets a historic precedent in the protection of low-earning workers and provides a platform for reducing inequality in society and also decreasing huge disparities in income in the national labour market.
We've taken 20 Rand because we considered what will be the effects on jobs, because it doesn't make sense. If we say people must get 20 Rand an hour and then out of that, million people lose their jobs because of the wages that they are getting.
NUMSA is adamant that the bill is meant to further the black working class into deeper poverty. The union says President Cyril Ramaphosa has legalized slave wages and confirmed to South African corporates that it is okay to exploit African workers and pay them low wages.
We should not lie to members of the working class and try and celebrate this as if this is some kind of achievement. Is there anyone in this life in South Africa today who can raise their family, educate their children on 20 Rands per hour? There's no one.
Meanwhile, the latest International Labour Organization Global Wages report finds that the global wages in 2017 were at their lowest since 2008.
We're seeing a decline, a very sharp decline in global wage growth, which has come down from 2.4% in 2016 to 1.8% in 2017, and which is due to both a slowdown in wage growth in high-income countries as well as in emerging economies.
The ILO says in the last 20 years, average real wages have almost tripled in emerging and developing G20 countries, while in advanced G20 countries they have increased by just 9%. But in many low and middle income economies, wage inequality remains high and wages are frequently insufficient to cover the needs of the workers and their families. However, it has welcomed South Africa's introduction for the national minimum wage due to come into effect next year.
The ILO welcomes the adoption of the national minimum wage in South Africa. It's a very important step towards more social justice in the country, and it will also contribute to increase the standard of living of workers and their families, particularly all of those who are paid less than 20 Rands an hour.
The report has also found that globally women continue to be paid 20% less than men. It says that one of the factors that weigh on the gender gap is motherhood, that mothers tend to have lower wages compared to non-mothers. This, it says, may be related to a host of factors such as stereotypical promotion decisions at enterprise level. Diabo Seto, SABC News, Johannesburg.
Well, for or against, that's going to be the discussion we're going to have a little later on. Of course, as you heard there, this has been described by critics as nothing but the legalization of slave labor. The counter-argument is that if you keep delaying this, you erode the value. So at some point, it has to start. That's going to be a discussion we're going to be having with Labour a little after 7. Saftu against and Kosato